With over 10 years in the industry, it's no wonder that fans in the underground love the rapper Bones. Hailing from Howell, Michigan, now 31, this rapper has been consistently releasing music, dropping hits, gaining fans, and working with the likes of famous musicians along Xavier Wulf, Chris Travis, and owning his own group, TEAMSESH. On top of that, he has collabed with Chris Travis and Xavier Wulf to make the group SESHOLLOWATERBOYZ. And most of you know his hits like We Don't Believe You and stuff like that. But what if I was to tell you that before this, he was doing something way darker, making a concept album based on a very horrible tragedy that shook America to its core? Yes, I am talking about the concept album Teen Witch by Bones, which is based on a very real and disturbing tragedy that happened in 1999. This is the story of the Bones Columbine concept album. Elmo Kennedy O Connor, born January 11, 1994 to his mother and father in Muir Beach, California, would later become known as Bones. But first he moved to Howell, Michigan at the age of 7, which he describes not having a very fond experience of, as it was very mundane and, according to him, filled with racist people. But there, online, he met fellow artists Chris Travis, Xavier Wulf, and Eddy Baker, and formed the group SESHOLLOWATERBOYZ. But before this, in 2012, was the drop of his debut EP. Around this time is also when he officially changed his stage name to Bones, and around this time, from 2012 to 2014, he released 12 albums altogether, one of them gaining negative and positive attraction for both all the wrong and right reasons. This album is called Teen Witch, and it features some very dark and disturbing topics, not your usual Bones kind of music, which is kind of turn up and hype, but filled with stuff that you can laugh to and also vibe to. See, Bones is a very diverse artist, releasing a lot of stuff, and altogether, he has released over 100 albums over different aliases over the years. But this one particularly blew up online and in media because of the controversial imagery in the lyrics and the topic he used in his concept album. But first, I want to bring you back to 1999 in Littleton, Colorado, where the tragedy took place. April 20th, 1999. All seems to be going well about the school day at Columbine High School in Littleton, Colorado, located in Jefferson County, until something very wrong starts to be noticed by people there.
Yes, I am a teacher at Columbine High School. There is a student here with a gun. He has shot out a window. I believe one kid has shot. I've been
Columbine High School.
I don't know what's in my shoulder. If it was just some last week or what.
Okay, has anybody been injured, ma'am?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, and the school is in a panic, and I'm in the library. I've got students down under the tables, kids. Heads under the tables.
In April 20th of 1999, in Littleton, Colorado, at Columbine High School, 17-year-old Dylan Klebold and 18-year-old Eric Harris committed an unspeakable act of violence against the school that took the lives of many and also shook the core of the Colorado community. Eric, a well-known believer of natural selection, enforced by a famous leader who I will not say on YouTube because he would get me banned, but just know he was involved in World War II and did a lot of very bad things against a certain group of people. Eric was a strong believer of natural selection enforced by him, and was also very sociopathic and seemed hell-bent on killing people or getting revenge. In his diary, he writes, "In April, me and vodka will do something big. It will be bigger than the Oklahoma City riots, Duke, Doom, all mixed together. Natural selection will finally take its course." Dylan, on the other hand, was very depressed and very easily manipulated by Eric, but he also had some very sociopathic, concerning behavior that needs to be addressed as well. The two as a mix ended up committing a very violent and horrible act that could have been prevented if they were not together and were also under watch by the school, and all the warning signs have been acknowledged in the first place, as this shooting has inspired countless other shootings and very, very horrible events since it happened, endless copycats, and people who are infatuated or even worship them as gods or idols, and it's just very disturbing. However, let's go back. On the day of the shooting, Eric reportedly walked into the school. A former colleague and friend, Brooks Brown, approached him and asked him why he was late for the test. Eric's response was unusual, even for his past hateful feud with Brooks Brown, that even got violent when he threatened to kill him on his website, which his father reported to the police. But when Brooks Brown walked away, he knew that was a fatal mistake, as he started hearing loud gunshots and knew something was happening. Eric and Dylan's original plan was to set 2 duffel bags full of propane bombs in the cafeteria. If this actually worked, and they went off, which they didn't, it would have killed hundreds more, and their plan after that was to shoot and kill people who were fleeing, attempting to survive. And when this did not work, they resorted to the last method, which was Plan B. When that did not work, they did do Plan B, which was shoot and kill as many as possible before committing suicide together. Many people reported that they heard loud pops, and at first one of the teachers and library workers, Patty Nielsen, thought it was fireworks or part of a movie production for the school and the film club. But then, upon arriving into the door, she saw students getting fired at before being blown out of the door by broken glass and shrapnel from a gunshot. Upon this, they walked into the school, and that's where they entered the library through the halls before killing a teacher, and this is where most of the massacre occurred, as most of the people who were murdered were in the library, and that is also where Eric and Dylan met their end when they committed suicide. Eric was 18 and Dylan was 17. Both died of self-inflicted gunshot wounds.
Aside from the obvious album cover, which is a reference to the trench coats that Eric and Dylan wore during the massacre, the intro to the album starts off just as morbid as you think an album like this would go. The sample is an excerpt of a news interview with the students who were at Columbine during the attack, and it is absolutely gruesome to hear these students describe it. Accompanied by Bones' music, the students describe what they heard during the attack over the sample of the interview. We heard like popping, and we didn't know what it was, and I look out the window, and there's this guy throwing like a pipe bomb at all the cars, and they like start blowing up and shooting everywhere in the cafeteria. You just hear them laughing and running up the stairs. The interview would then go to describe how the 2 young men were, according to students there, members of a group called the Trenchcoat Mafia, which by the way was later proven false, as Eric and Dylan were never a part of that group and would often just pose wearing the trench coats to look scary. Now, I'm not going to take 5 minutes each to describe all of these songs, but just know it goes on describing the full story of Columbine through these songs. From the song Klebold, which is obviously titled after Dylan Klebold, one of the shooters, and his view of the world and the shooting and his life through his perspective before he acted on the shooting with Eric, to Rampart Range, which is a direct reference to the range Eric and Dylan practiced at before shooting up the school, and he also shouts out his fellow SESHOLLOWATERBOYZ members on this. However, the one that gets reposted the most and is cited as being the most disturbing song Bones has ever made or on that album is without a doubt Library Suicide, which goes into the great disturbing and depressing detail and an inside perspective of how Eric and Dylan committed suicide after the shooting. Now, it's no shock that Bones probably got some mixed reactions from such controversial of an album topic to make a concept album on. Some people were angry and accused him of glamorizing the events and the 2 shooters, and some people just generally vibed with it and thought it was good. But at the end of the day, and in conclusion, it pretty much seems like Bones has not really glamorized the actions of Eric and Dylan, or what happened that day at Columbine High School. It seems like he's just trying to express himself in a morbid, yet expressive and creative way to make a concept album about something dark in history. I feel like if any rock or punk or metal band made a song about killing a politician or a famous person, then people would eat it up. But because it's a morbid topic like two teens who shot up a high school, people think it's suddenly glamorizing it, which is obviously not the case, as Bones seems very remorseful and very horrible feeling about such tragedies that happen in America every day. I'm gonna get a better mic, so I apologize guys that this is kind of shitty sounding when I talk on the video, but this is my first video and I hope you guys enjoy. I want to do a quick video on this topic because it's always interested me a lot, and I want to make some more morbid content and possibly less morbid content if anyone is not interested in that and doesn't have a stomach to view disturbing or upsetting content, as I said in the disclaimer. But I'd appreciate if you guys give this video a like. I will make some more videos if you guys enjoy this one, and thank you for watching. I appreciate it so much. See you in the next one.